So it hasn't been a really stellar last few weeks for President Obama. He's had trouble with controversies. That's my favorite word. Not scandals, but controversies on things like the IRS looking in the right-wing groups.
Your tabloid headline.
I know, it's true. But this week in the Wall Street Journal NBC News poll, we decided to quantify what the effect has been. And it was interesting. We found there was a feeling that people have started to doubt the administration's honesty to some extent because of these controversies, but that they haven't really changed their views about the president.
Yeah, it was a significant majority on all the questions, whether it was the IRS controversy or the Benghazi controversy. Significant majorities.
And Benghazi.
And Benghazi, and it raised some level of doubt about the honesty and integrity of the administration. But then we asked about the president, and for the most part, people are still reserving blame. The one issue where it kind of gets closer to him than any others is the response to the attacks on the diplomatic outpost in Benghazi, and that his approval rating basically is flat from where it was from before the controversy, so that Obama himself, his personal image has not been tarnished, but certainly questions have been raised about his administration.
Can last? I mean, it's one thing to say they were incompetent in the IRS, and then they were incompetent at the guys who did who were protecting the outpost in Benghazi, and Eric Holder went too far with the AP subpoenas, and whatever. But at some point, you're the CEO. You got to start.
Well, and that's the big concern. So about a quarter of the people reserved judge or didn't know enough to have an opinion on any of these things, and I think that's the biggest problem for the administration.
Quarter said they didn't know.
They didn't know enough, so that those are people that are persuadable or just not paying any attention. But that's a group of people that the White House is going to have to watch. The other thing that we saw in the poll, all polls except for rare instances are both good news and bad news. And the bad news in this poll, I think the worst news for the president was we've seen now a very steady erosion among independents since about January. And now it's almost 2-to-1 independents disapprove of his job as president as they approve of his job. And I think in terms of troubling trends, that's a really bad
and independents now, and I guess maybe always, are a pretty grumpy lot. They're not happy with Obama. They're not all that thrilled with Republicans. They're not convinced the economy is getting better. So these are people who can turn on a president fairly quickly.
With one exception, Chris Christie, the New Jersey governor.
That's a good point.
He did well, but
independents like Chris Christie. Not a coincidence, I guess.
And Republicans and Democrats don't.
Exactly. It's like there's your third-party candidate for 2016 right there.
Christy Bloomberg.
I think there was another piece of good news in the poll, and that was the economy. The opinions are still pretty bad, but they're not nearly where they were at the height of the economic crisis. And what we're seeing is a noticeable uptrend among but certain demographic groups, and that's basically people with college degrees or people who make more than $75,000 a year, which should probably come as no surprise.
And also, excuse me for mentioning this, working males, middle-aged working males who, present company excluded, have not had a pretty scary time in the recession because they're the people who got laid off this time around, and they're the ones who couldn't find jobs, and now they seem to feel a little better about the way things are headed.
I think there's a view that if the economy weren't getting better, or people didn't feel it was getting better, the president's popularity ratings might be really a lot worse because of all these controversies.
Well, and that is an interesting question, is how much his durability is tethered to the economy.